Alright, quick question. What core characteristic does Martin Luther King, Toussaint Louverture, A$AP Rocky, Marcus Garvey, Vybz Kartel, Osama Bin Laden, and Adolf Hitler all have in common? Nah, I'm not mad, I swear. I swear. Well, not a lot, but that's not the point. The answer to the question is social influence. Influence is something that is observable and applicable in every aspect of life, especially in fashion. Why could cult leaders influence previously law-abiding citizens to commit heinous acts? Or why could A$AP Rocky influence thousands of persons to wear babushkas and look like the Red Riding niggers? Or why could Travis Scott incite raves? Influence refers to the changing or altering of behaviors, morals, ideals, and practices via an external factor such as a person, a minority group, or a larger community. But in every instance, there is always a few select persons that stand on top of the hierarchy and possess the bulk of this influence. In fashion, it refers to the select few individuals that are able to control the narrative on what their followers believe to be stylish, appealing, or contains any form of sauce, like raw sauce. And such, whether directly or indirectly, they shape their audience into versions of themselves. In fashion, people are influenced due to fascination, desire to feel belongingness within one's group of desire or choice, and used as a form of identity. But what makes someone, or by extension a group, influential? If you ask me, personally, I'd say 3 significant factors on the surface level are unique appeal, lifestyle, and relatability of ideas. An integral component in fashion is standing out. Unique appeal, as the name suggests, comes from styles that we have not seen before. It could be as small as a ring or wearing a garment differently from how it was traditionally worn, or changing or reimagining an existing piece. In my opinion, it could also exist through the revival of aesthetics from the past. Basically, the combination of smaller ideas into a bigger one. There are many ways in which I view unique appeal, and it does not necessarily stem from a new idea. Anything unique stimulates the approval or the appeal of the observer, grabbing their attention, in some cases influencing their following decisions as it pertains to the garment or the aesthetic. Some great examples of influence through unique appeal are Rick Owens, white mountaineering, and acronym. Rick Owens is the first time we've seen what someone looks like after being mauled by a bear, but in fashion. Also known as the Lord of Darkness, his style revolves around dramatic cuts, a unique palette, and textures. Love or hate his garments, Rick Owens' aesthetic is one of the most unique styles to be birthed into fashion, garnering a strong cult following he now possesses. He was one of the first designers from America to experiment with the silhouette of the body and how pieces flew on it. His exaggerated take on garments is especially felt in the US and even inspired contemporary designers after him. Acronym, 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 acronym. You probably heard the name before. Acronym took a functional look that has been around and personalized it for function and style, glamorizing and popularizing the techwear aesthetic. Though it can be said that they didn't actually invent the look of techwear by any means, they are responsible for the direction it took and drew influence from the military and functional gear, infusing it with their own innovations and personal style. We are all attracted to lifestyles and cultures that either feed our fantasy or somewhat reflect the life we live or would like to eventually live. This, in my opinion, plays a great role in influential persons in fashion, because apart from their outfits, they portray various lifestyles that are unorthodox or strays from the norm of most persons' typical life. This may include musicians, artists, models, entrepreneurs, and just persons born into wealth. They offer a window into an alternate reality from the typical mundane university student or 9-to-5 office worker. In following the way in which these persons dress, we somewhat feel as if we vicariously live through them, or putting ourselves in the state of mind to eventually attain their type of lifestyle. Fashion and culture are two halves of a whole. One isn't truly present without the other. Influence is a driving force of culture, and fashion is a vehicle of culture. You see what I did there? See what? Because driving force, right? Driving and vehicle. Okay, great example. Take Vlone. I feel like most of us have a rough idea of the story of V-Lone. Though V-Lone did have appealing pieces, V-Lone pieces weren't grand innovations or cuts and fonts never seen before, but the driving force of the brand was the culture of the mob. Their relaxed rockstar / cozy aesthetic was directly tied into their lifestyle, as many of the members were involved more ways than one in the creative industry, whether it be music, fashion, art, etc. With collaborations from Nike arguably being at the forefront of the resurgence of the Air Force wave, V-Lone potentially was skyrocketing at one point before eventually crumbling due to actions of a few irresponsible individuals. More so individual, singular. Lastly is relatability of ideals. Fashion in some instances carry messages through garments worn. These messages could either be verbally portrayed, printed on the garment themselves, or displayed subliminally and subconsciously. In addition to this, we are drawn to relatable ideas, values, and beliefs, whether it be more extreme or passive than our own. And why is all of this necessarily important in the grander scheme of things? Relatability of ideas and culture goes hand in hand, but for the sake of the video I divided them. Many brands represent relatability for their consumers, but not many has done it better than Supreme or Chanel. Supreme. There's not much I could really tell you about Supreme that you probably don't already know. A major factor to the street brand and its success is its reliability of ideals and values among its audience, acting as an intangible cement binding their culture together. In its initial stages, Supreme was synonymous with the hip-hop community and skating. You needed to share certain values, such as those to be fully ingratiated into the culture. As such, this exposed and influenced a large population of male teens towards the brand and culture, and by extension, the necessary requirements for the involvement. Chanel's ideals were revolutionary for women in its time. In addition to the creation of the little black dress, Chanel is also known for liberating women from the prior uncomfortable corsets. Chanel's rebellious ideologies on changing the dress paradigm for women was visibly seen through the use of more relaxed and masculine elements into her garments. However, even greater than that, she represented a cause or unified philosophy all women were able to stand behind, greatly influencing the masses and shifting the paradigm for women's wear. Now, why was everything and all the 3 points I now listed important? Well, in fashion, this is important because influence provides a sense of belongingness and identity among a larger group. It shows you that your tastes and ideals aren't as strange as you may believe, and there are others who value and appreciate the same things you do. As much as we like to feel unique in our own way, no one wants to feel completely alienated. Secondly, influence boosts innovation, as the expansion of one palette leads to exploration of new styles and techniques and the hybridization of all these concepts. It inspires persons to be creative. Lastly, it acts as a reference point to be able to trace where one's initial ideas came from. However, everything has negative aspects to it. You could go in raw, but you're probably gonna get HPV. Besides the point. However, there are negative components to influence within fashion. Where it can birth innovation, it can also cultivate stagnation. A high level of conformity where you no longer long for expanding and exploring new ideas, but instead playing safe within the boundaries of your influencers. You eventually lose track of what you actually like for yourself. Like those ugly sandals or bell bottoms. You eventually fall into a groupthink style, which is the worst possible thing you could fall into. There are many factors that contribute to making a person influential. Do I know the facts? Not really. I was just speaking from observation and personal opinion, but I'd like to hear your opinion, whether you think it is valuable or not, on what you believe makes someone influential. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah.